Kia ora, Pacific greetings and talofa lava to our English-speaking audience. For longer, the Voyage program aims to communicate key information to raise awareness within the Pacific communities and create greater understanding between our communities. The show encourages passion for education, business ventures, celebrating culture and understanding the social and economic issues impacting our communities. This show was made possible by Foundation North, Vuxit and Porridge Civil Engineering, the Voyage Media Limited and Face TV. This show is available on YouTube, Face TV, On Demand, and at voyagemedia.co.nz. O leo tu leo nei polo kalame sa moai na ia whai loa, wha malamalama malongo pui li iwa nga tau le no nofo ai le nei tunu. Ia whai mata iala e te tala ai la tātou wa ai leo te lenga ai leo le whapuma mo. A malamalama lo utou mamalu ele uma le fetu leni mai, o manatu mamafu whaunga le lei ma whai ai on tātou whaatino ina tu langa tāle whenga i le lei. Mo le tamao ainga o tātou tangata anu sa mo ma le Pasifika i Aotearoa nei. In the studio today we have Reverend Elder Sumalia Naisali Tafaki Josefa. Sumalia is of Tuvalu descent, born in island of Nuku'ulai, Tuvalu. He migrated to New Zealand in 1988 and has wealth of experience in Pacific affairs, youth, churches, communities and organizations. He is a former advisory member for Minister of Pacific Island Affairs, Ministry of Social Development, Creative New Zealand and Ministry of Immigration. Reverend Elder Sumalia is a board member at Waitakere City Council and Auckland Tuvalu Society. In addition, Sumalia is the president of Pacific Elderly Board of Directors and director of Auckland Tuvalu Society. Yeah, welcome Sumalia whaatalo whatu. Talofa lava I lausunga I le whawhenga mālo sui fua.
Talofa lava Wellingtona. Whawhtai le alofa mo le halei o le tua. Ua maule ni taimi sei ta tala no ai I lunga o le nei proklama. Whawhtai lava.
Yeah, whawhtai. Reverend Elder Sumalia has been an executive member for a variety of international organizations such as World Conference of the Boys Brigade, London, Council for World Mission, London, Pacific Island NGOs and Foundation of the People of South Pacific. Elder Sumalia's involvement with youth has led him as the founding president for the Pacific Conference of Churches Youth Committee. Reverend, there's a lot to talk about. And shall I say, let's start from your tiny island nation, Tuvalu.
Tuvalu.
Yeah. What makes you leave the island way back to migrate to New Zealand?
Tuvalu is a very small, tiny independent country and got independence in 1978 on the 1st of October. And this year will be 41 years of independence. But I have been migrated to New Zealand 20 years now, living here in New Zealand. And being here in New Zealand, I was asked by the Christian Church of Tuvalu to look into the well-being of the Tuvalu diaspora, Tuvalu who are migrating from Tuvalu to New Zealand because of the adverse of climate change, as we know now. But I would say that the population of Tuvalu is now 12,000 people, and as we know that we have a newly government, democratic government for Tuvalu with 16 members of parliament, with the newly Prime Minister, the Honourable Kausea Nantano, and also a few cabinet ministers and members of parliament.
It sounds like that you are very much involved in not only Tuvaluans who live abroad, like New Zealand, Australia, and other parts of the world, but also back in your island Tuvalu. You come across as someone that I can see that you have a lot to do in the development, not only in Tuvalu, but also abroad. What's your perspective of Tuvalu, especially with a lot of talk around climate changes?
Well, climate change now is the main song that is sung in Tuvalu. I had the privilege to attend the latest Pacific Island Forum in Tuvalu, and on the first day we talked and discussed about the issue of climate change. Is there any strategy for Tuvalu for climate change? And how can the Pacific Island Forum support Tuvalu on this issue of climate change? Well, when people talk about climate change, they talk about a well-being of people. They talk about looking into strategies for people who are in need to search for a better place. Talk about a nation that needs to rebuild its program. Talk about a nation that is needed to be supported by the whole world. But being a Tuvalu myself, I have seen the changes in Tuvalu, the changes of the weather, in Tuvalu. Before, like in Tuvalu, we don't have winter, autumns, and summer. Summer the whole year.
Just like any other,
just
Samoa,
like any other
Tonga,
Pacific.
yeah.
But there are seasons, during the year. Like when we come to this time, they are stormy seasons. But now in Tuvalu, there's a lot of changes and differences. And I mean, the scientists try to prove that this is the changes in the weather is due to the adverse or the repercussions of the climate change in Tuvalu.
Do you think Tuvalu may disappear one day?
I would not like to see that happen, but it depends. It depends on how our globe is continuing its environment protection. And if Tuvalu has to be disappeared, this is at the right time for us to decide of a strategy to save a nation, to save a language, to save a culture, and to save the sovereignty and the integrity of an independent nation.
As a Christian island nation, like most of the other Pacific Island nations, Tuvalu was one of the Pacific Island nations that were visited or were influenced with the arrival of Christianity way back in the 1800s. So is that, are those some of the things that Tuvalu people, relying very much, to make sure that Tuvalu still exists?
The
Christian faith and
Christianity was introduced to Tuvalu in 1861, and then the missionaries from Samoa has done great achievement for the well-being of the Tuvalu people by using the Tuspai Samoa, Mavi Ingaileli, and also the Samoan language that has been spoken by our great parents. But Christianity has also influenced us with new values, new beliefs, ideology, and theology. But people are asking today, if God is real, do we have to run away or do we depend on God? Yes, we have to depend on God if we have faith on God. And I think also the realization of faith in its context is for us to act accordingly to what we can do in protecting our environment so that a people may live and be thrive like in Tuvalu, Kiribati, the Marshall Islands, or Tokelau, the low-lying atolls.
It sounds like the other very important strength of your vision and how you look at Tuvalu and Pacific people here in New Zealand is the fact that you were very much into the theology side of things from the beginning. Sa e a onga whaiwhiau, mai ua il tūlanga whoile o mwhai ona a vea oe mas whaiwhiau, nei ua a mataina o le lotu Tuvalu te tono New Zealand nei, a tono sisi le tu esel tā ua i le whaafongo fo ia al tangata Pasifika, a mese o tā tangata i le tele o lo silafia, ma le iloa i le atua malona finangalo.
We are privileged to come to New Zealand, coming into the established churches that are already here. So our people, when they migrate to New Zealand, we started with the Presbyterian Church in Grayling, Cromer Road, when Reverend Liu Tepo was also a Tuvaluan who was serving as the parish minister for Grayling. And then when we come here, being Congregationalist, Presbyterianism and Congregationalists are different. So we came with a different structure, different ideologies, and our people are not really comfortable within the Presbyterian Church, the way they operate and the way they decide doing
the language.
things, and the language and how they organize the Presbyterian Church. So we decided, we gave them options. What would you like to do? And the options were agreed by the people. We rather affiliate to our home church. So in 2001, I planted the first church, and it was called the Reformed Christian Church of Tuvalu, here in New Zealand. And starting from there, from Auckland, and then we have one church in Wellington, one in Pukekohe, one up in Whangarei, and until now we have about 9 churches for the migrants of Tuvalu who are here.
Who speaks Tuvaluans?
We speak Tuvaluans, we preach in Tuvalu, we use the Tuvalu Bible and the Tuvalu hymn book in these services. It is bilingual, and also we use the English language for the younger generations. But we would like to encourage using our language to enable the younger generations to learn Tuvalu and speak the language fluently.
You did mention earlier on about the global and the forum, the Pacific Forum just completed in Tuvalu last month. How much support from the likes of the Australians, the New Zealanders, and the forum with regards to Tuvalu's climate changes situation right now?
Well, as we all know that we always call Australia our father and New Zealand our mother for the Pacific. We have that mentality that we depend on whatever they decide, especially to align their policies into the communique of the forum in Tuvalu. And New Zealand was very supportive, and I understand because the Prime Minister and also the Minister of Pacific People who were there in Tuvalu were supporting Tuvalu because of the big Tuvalu community here in New Zealand. We have built good relationship. We have a voice to sing whatever we would like to do here in New Zealand. So with the New Zealand support was really great. But knowing Australia too has its own strategy on the issue of climate change. And I would say that at the end of the forum, all the governments agree on the communique, and even Australia also raised other issues to align Australia's strategy to the outcome of the communique of the forum according to the climate change strategy.
Well, with the new government, it's just being elected last month, where are you placed in terms of the type of direction that the new government and the new Prime Minister and the new cabinet of 16 cabinet member of parliament, where are they heading to in terms of all these, like the climate changes and such?
Currently now, the government of Tuvalu, we have a new Prime Minister, the Honourable Kausea Natano, who has been a former member of parliament from the island of Funafuti. So he has been a politician for that long, and knowing the in and out of the government kakenga, that is the development plan of the Tuvalu. As far as I know, I was able to talk to the Prime Minister before I left Tuvalu to come to New Zealand. The new government is also in support of what the old government has done, and especially now Tuvalu now is being the chairperson now of the Pacific Forum for this year, and the Tuvalu government is going to continue what has been left by the previous government under the leadership of Honourable Eneleso Buang's dream: save Tuvalu to save our world. So if we can't save Tuvalu, we cannot save our world.
Sa momalau fafonga le talanoanga ma le sunga i le toina sumali e naisali tafaki Josefa naisali. O le tūlanga fo ile o pose lilo o Tuvalu sa lona swafa mo elise. E o lo ia le nu o elise i Samoa. Al talnoanga. Ina ia mwhai ona toi wha toi tatala mai le langona o le sunga a Somalia. Ile nei motu o Tuvalu. Ile tūlanga fo o le whenga iai ma ona o se motu e maua lalo o le motu na fausia i amu. Se vane le whaafonga le tunu e le pei o tātou Samoa o motu na fausia i peni motu o maunga tūlanga whapena a Tuvalu. O se motu i le titi. E valu ona motu ese. A o loo matua mauhae le lātou tau mawhai ina ia mawhai ona tū mau pe Tuvalu. Pe on sao noa le sunga Somalia. Ia mawhai ona tū mau pesu ia Tuvalu. E le alu ese i le tūlanga o le iai tonu o le Pasifika. Whaawau tātou talonanga. When we come back, we will continue our discussion with Reverend Elder Somalia Naisali Tafak Josefa about Tuvalu and other things. Welcome back. This show is made possible by Foundation North, Bookseed and Porridge Civil Engineering, the Voyage Media Limited and Face TV. Continuing our discussion with Reverend Elder Somalia. Reverend Elder Somalia is also a founding member for the Pacific Conference of Churches Youth Economical Congress. He is a member of subunit of the youth at the World Council Geneva and an executive member of International Youth Fellowship in New Zealand. In addition, Somalia was also a peace ambassador of Universal Peace Federation in New Zealand. Let's talk about, let's talk about the youth. What's your role with the youth?
I started my ministry in 1984 as the youth director for Tuvalu, a Christian youth director, and also evangelism. So I started as a young person, my ministry, and then from that time I was able to mobilize the young people of Tuvalu and started the National Youth Council. That was during my time there in Tuvalu. Also I was in 1986 was the first president of the Pacific Youth Ecumenical Movements for the Pacific Conference of Churches, and that was started in Tonga. So we try to mobilize a mission, a vision, and a strategy for all the churches, youth in the Pacific. Also in that capacity, I also sit in the subunit of the World Council of Churches. That is the biggest global body based in Geneva, and also being a voice of the youth into the Council for World Mission that is based in London, for the churches who are under the LAMOSA, or the London Missionary Society, now called the CWM, Council for World Mission. So the idea here for the young people is to act locally and think globally. So what are the global issues that we are facing in the Pacific? In those times, the Mururoa, Tahiti, and how can we, the young people, stand together in solidarity to support other young people around the Pacific. And likewise in the world, we do the same thing. We come as a voice for the whole ecumenical movements for the young people in the world.
As a peace ambassador, what's that role? Can you elaborate on that?
I was appointed peace ambassador in 2000 for the Universal Peace Federation. UPF, or Universal Peace Federation, is an international body like the United Nations. And this is to do with all the religions in the world coming together. A voice for all religions in the world. It doesn't matter who you belong to, but a voice for everybody. Represented by leaders of government, leaders of the churches, traditional leaders, academics, women and youth. And this is an international organization that is promoting peace through our families, and then living for the sake of others.
You know, as a president of the Pacific People Climate Change Action Forum, how much knowledge of our people with regards to climate changes?
Well, this organization was set up in 2015 here in New Zealand, and mostly as the Tuvaluans champions who are driving the initiative, because at the end of the day, you know, we are thinking of saving Tuvalu. So we must do something locally and think globally of what is happening in Tuvalu. We want to be the voice of the Tuvalu people here in New Zealand, trying to influence the other organizations who are the 350, the other peace initiatives who are here in New Zealand, Greenpeace, and also the government of New Zealand to align its strategy with the idea to save Tuvalu, to be able to save the world.
E wholinga mai sa mōmana tāpo inga o ngā luenga o ngā lue ele sunga le whawhenga inga ia elda sumalie. E a ngai ana isi o lātou atu no o le motu o Tuvalu, ona o le tūlanga iai i le tūlanga fo i lea o le wa o ana tau o lolo fia fo nei ona o le suavai e bo le sami. Tūlanga la le i le swing o le tau ma vaenga ese. Le a ngai e le wha moe. Ma le tūlanga fo ina i mwhai ona to tele la to lango ina ma fa ta ina ma sila fiele lei ia le winga lo loto o le climate change po le swing o falling o le tau e moni lava o le tua ma lona finingalo sila le lalo langi ma me o tupu ai a le ngā luenga le tangata soifu e pe on tala no ma Yesu malie o le tūlanga ina ia whaasau ina Tuvalu. Elder Sumalie is a former vice president of Christian Church of Tuvalu and an executive member for more than 20 years in the Christian Church of Tuvalu. He is the founding minister of the Reformed Christian Church of Tuvalu and the United Reformed Christian Church of Kiribati and Tuvalu in New Zealand. Reverend Elder Sumalie is also the current chairman of the Tuvalu Interfaith Ministers Forum New Zealand. In terms of climate change, Reverend, are there any plans in place to preserve the nation, the culture and the language? Is there any plan for migrating to other nations to preserve the culture and the language, if whatever happens to Tuvalu?
Well, people, when you ask them, would you be happy to stay here in Tuvalu? Some people would say, I'd rather stay here. There is no other place better than home. But other people, they want to achieve vibrancy in their well-being, looking after their families, the future, education. They would rather given them the integrity to live with integrity. And by doing that, do we have a strategy for displacement? Here in New Zealand, we have 6,000 already Tuvaluans who are here in New Zealand. Back in Tuvalu, we have 12,000 people there in Tuvalu. Whatever happens to a nation, if we disappear, we are already here. Tuvalu is here, a nation is here already. And integrity of the people, the language, a culture is here already. But what can we do to the people who are already here? Well, this is one of my main campaign for the government of Tuvalu and for the government of New Zealand to look into, where we are now, because we are people who are very stressful in trying to think about our nation, trying to do our best to save Tuvalu. But we also like the support of New Zealand, Australia, or any other government in the world that could help us to mobilize Tuvalu community here, Tuvalu churches here, to maintain the integrity of a nation and a people.
Sa mo pe lava tātou, po whea lava tātou tino no foi mālalai. E alu ale manatu ana I le ainga o nuu mālal whanga ma le tunu o Samoa. Whapena foi langona o Reverend Sumalie ma tangata Tuvalu. Po tangata e lise sa iai tau sanga umai. Po whea lava o alala ma papa awai. E alu ale ma fau ana I Tuvalu. So let's talk a little bit about your involvement with family violence. It is very important that you also have a role to play in here. What's your role in there?
Family violence is quite a big issue for us Pacific people. So the Ministry of Social Development has looked into this and by the Pacific Proud. And by doing that, each ethnicity will look into a framework that enable them to address their own problems. It's like the Psalm once saying, "For So anything to do with the Samoan problems in family violence, we have to address it with the Samoan culture, language, and protocols. And likewise, we have a Tuvalu framework for that. And at the moment, there are 3 of us who have been trained professionally to present this and test this framework around New Zealand. And we have been doing this to all our communities here in New Zealand, test our framework called the Voyage, and also at the moment write a strategy on our way forward. And that is the next step that we have already done.
What's your vision or dream for Tuvalu and its people?
My dream and vision for Tuvalu, back in Tuvalu, is to be saved and to be vibrant and to resilient and stand up. A resilient Tuvalu to protect the integrity as a nation. For Tuvalu here, it is important for us to work in solidarity with the government of New Zealand, to stand up and be a voice for our people and the future development for the prosperity of our well-being here in New Zealand. Well, starting from the north is Nanumea, Nanumanga, Niutao, Nui, Vaitupu, Funafuti, Nukufetau, Nukulalai.
And Nukulalai, where are you from?
Where I am from, the most southern and most beautiful island in Tuvalu.
All these islands are people living there?
All these islands putting together 26 square kilometers of land, and people, they all live in this a nation, 26 square kilometers of land. 12,000 people and 12 feet above the sea level. And it's the most vulnerable of the vulnerables because of the climate change.
Lava noi te sao no ai ilang ngana Tuvalu pe fina ngalo ai ia wa foi le fa fonga al pai o tangata no Tuvalu lo mfedo fa sila mai mo
Faftai a rolu falongolong mai ia de farmemanga ke talo siane datou a farmemanga Tuvalu mo de tua ai ke faolangina datou I de kau fakadasi I de alofa o de tua mo datou Faftai la Wellington.
The Samoan Bible and the Samoan hymn book that you have used way back, how important was that?
That is very important. Every morning, every evening, the elderly people will sing the Samoan song you can hear from all houses in our evening devotions. And we recite that, in our hearts. And we never forget, the word of God that was given by the Samoans to our people.
Whawhitai mo le sumai lau sunga il toina, sumalia, il nei avanoa e o whawhonga fo il paia o Samoa, e mesi tangata Pasifika il tūlanga winga I Tuvalu. E mesi foi lau soifua ai, ia ma lau wola ai nei, ia o loo sila na I Tuvalu ina ia whasawina Tuvalu. Many thanks for watching. You can catch us next time or see the program on Face TV on demand, YouTube or on Voyage Media website. Until next time, tofa soifua.